10 countries are currently competing for your retirement dollars, like casino hosts fighting over a whale, and the uncomfortable truth nobody wants to say out loud is this. They don't want you because you're charming. They want you because you're a walking ATM with a government guaranteed income stream, and their economies need what you've got. Here's what I mean. A friend of mine, Jerry, spent 42 years paying into Social Security, saved his whole life, did everything right. Then he sat down with a financial planner in Tampa who told him his retirement budget would be tight, real tight, like choosing between air conditioning and his blood pressure medication tight. 6 months later, Jerry's living in a 3-bedroom house in Panama with a housekeeper, paying less than his old Tampa studio, getting his meds for pennies on the dollar. He didn't get lucky. He got strategic. Because what nobody tells you is that while American cities are pricing out their own retirees, entire countries have built economic development strategies around importing them. And I'm going to walk you through exactly how this system works, why it's accelerating, and which 10 countries have turned "please retire here" into actual foreign policy. The central dynamic here is what I call the pensioner arbitrage. You've got money that's worth more somewhere else, and they've got services that cost less to provide. It's the same reason companies move factories to Mexico, except now you're the factory. Your pension is the product, and the receiving country gets a customer who spends locally, doesn't take jobs, and brings foreign currency. It's the perfect economic immigrant from their perspective. Let me show you how this works with some actual numbers. The average Social Security check in 2026 is about $1,900 a month. In Cleveland, that gets you a 1-bedroom apartment and ramen. In Medellin, Colombia, that same $1,900 covers rent, utilities, health insurance, a housekeeper twice a week, and enough left over for restaurant meals and weekend trips. You didn't get richer. The arbitrage just shifted in your favor. Now you might be thinking this sounds too good to be true. Like there's got to be some catch, some hidden cost, some reason Americans aren't flooding these places, and you'd be half right. There is a cost, but it's not financial. It's psychological. You have to accept that the American retirement dream you were sold, the one with the golf cart community and the HOA meetings and the $200 cable bill, that dream is a marketing construct designed to keep you spending in the same economy that's been extracting from you for 40 years. The countries doing this best understand something American financial advisors won't tell you. Your pension isn't just income, it's leverage, and they're willing to negotiate. Take Portugal. They looked at their aging population, their empty villages, their brain drain to Germany and France, and they made a calculated decision. They created the D7 visa specifically targeting retirees. The income requirement is about 1,000 euros monthly. That's it. You know what you get for that? Access to one of Europe's top 20 healthcare systems, a tax rate that's either zero or close to it on foreign pension income, and residency in the EU. They're not being nice. They're importing economic stability. Because here's what happens when you move there. You rent or buy property, stabilizing their real estate market. You pay for services, supporting local employment. You spend your guaranteed government income, all of which is new money flowing into their economy. You're basically a one-person stimulus package, except you cost them almost nothing because you're not using their pension system, you brought your own. I talked to a woman named Carol who moved to the Algarve in 2023. She worked as a school administrator in New Jersey for 31 years. Her property taxes alone were eating $4,200 annually. Her healthcare through Cobra was running her $1,100 a month. She did the math and realized she was spending more on just existing in New Jersey than her entire cost of living in Portugal, healthcare included. She's not there for the beaches, though they're nice. She's there because the system finally worked in her favor instead of against her. But it gets more interesting when you look at who's competing hardest. Panama has been running this play since 1977. Their pensionado program is the gold standard. $1,000 monthly pension income, and you get residency plus discounts on everything. 25% off airfare, 50% off entertainment, 25% off utilities. These aren't tourist gimmicks. This is economic policy designed to make you a permanent consumer in their economy. Why would they do this? Because Panama's banking sector needs deposits. Their service economy needs customers. Their real estate market needs stable buyers. An American retiree with a guaranteed income stream is more valuable to their economy than 3 families of working-age immigrants who might or might not find jobs. You're pre-qualified capital. Now here's where the system shows its real face. These programs started small, niche visa categories for the few Americans adventurous enough to try them, but something shifted after the 2008 financial crisis and then again after COVID. Suddenly, more Americans started running the numbers and realizing the math didn't work at home anymore. The countries noticed, and they started competing. Malaysia created the Malaysia My Second Home program, 10 to 20 years of residency, no taxes on foreign income. They want you there because their economy has been trying to move upmarket for 2 decades, and an influx of foreign retirees with spending power helps justify building better hospitals, better infrastructure, better services. You're not a burden. You're a justification for capital investment. Greece took it even further. They said, fine, we'll just make the tax rate 7% flat if you move to a rural area or island. For 15 years, they looked at their depopulating islands and aging villages and realized that a bunch of American retirees spending money year-round is better than seasonal tourism and empty houses. They're using you to solve a demographic problem. Let me give you a concrete example with real numbers. Imagine you're 67, pulling in $2,300 monthly from Social Security plus a small pension. In Phoenix, Arizona, here's your budget. Rent for a decent 1-bedroom is running $1,500 minimum. Health insurance before Medicare supplements another $300 to $400. Utilities, $150. Car, insurance, gas, $250. You're at $2,300 before you've bought food or turned on Netflix. You're at break even, and one major expense sinks you. Now run that same budget in Medellin, Colombia. Rent for a 2-bedroom apartment in a safe, walkable neighborhood, $600. Comprehensive private health insurance, $120. Utilities including high-speed internet, $80. Food and eating out regularly, $400. Transportation using a mix of Metro and Uber, $60. You're at $1,260. You just banked over $1,000 monthly and your quality of life went up. Better weather, better healthcare access, walkable city, no car dependency. Colombia isn't doing this out of kindness. They're doing it because they looked at the economics and realized that every American retiree represents about $15,000 in annual direct spending, none of which competes with local wages, all of which multiplies through their economy. It's the easiest economic development they can do. But here's the thing nobody wants to acknowledge. The reason these programs work so well, the reason they're expanding, is because the American retirement system is fundamentally broken for anyone who isn't wealthy. Social Security was never designed to be your only income. Pensions have mostly evaporated. 401ks are a dice roll that depends on market timing. And the cost of aging in America, healthcare alone, is designed to extract every dollar you saved. The system isn't broken by accident. It's working exactly as designed, just not for you. These countries looked at that system and saw opportunity. They're offering you the deal America should have offered. A dignified retirement where your pension actually covers your life. I want to be clear about something though. This isn't some expat fantasy where everything is perfect and America is terrible. Every one of these countries has trade-offs. Learning a new language, different bureaucracy, being far from family, real cultural adjustment. These are real costs. But for a lot of people, those costs are smaller than the cost of staying put and watching their retirement savings evaporate into rent and prescriptions. The funniest part, American policymakers are barely paying attention. They see this as a few thousand retirees doing something weird. They don't see it as capital flight, but that's exactly what it is. Every American who retires abroad is taking their guaranteed government income stream and spending it elsewhere. That's demand leaving the economy, and it's accelerating. The countries that figured this out first, Panama, Costa Rica, Portugal, they're now dealing with established expat communities large enough that services have built up around them. English-speaking doctors, American-style grocery stores, expat social networks, which makes it even easier for the next wave. The infrastructure is already there. These aren't frontier moves anymore. They're established migration patterns. And the competition is getting more aggressive. Greece didn't just lower taxes. They're actively marketing to retirees. Spain streamlined their non-lucrative visa specifically to capture this demographic. Italy is selling houses in depopulated southern towns for €1 because they'd rather have someone living there paying for services than nobody at all. This is a buyer's market, except you're the product being bought and the purchase price is making your life significantly better. Let me tell you about one more person, a guy named Richard, 71, retired from the Postal Service, lived in suburban Baltimore his whole life. His wife passed, kids moved away for work. He was spending 63% of his income on rent and healthcare. Sitting in a paid-off house would have helped, but property taxes and maintenance were running him close to the same number. He felt stuck. Then his daughter showed him the math on Portugal. He moved in 2024, rents a place in a small town outside Porto for €500. Healthcare cost him essentially nothing. He video calls his grandkids, same as before. His purchasing power tripled overnight. He's not living some fantasy. He's just living without the constant financial fear. That's what this is really about. These countries aren't begging you to retire there because they love Americans. They're making you an economically rational offer that your own country stopped making decades ago, and more people are taking it because the alternative is worse. So here are 3 things you actually need to know if you're considering this. First, run the real numbers, not the dream budget, the actual budget. Include healthcare, housing, food, transportation, everything. Then compare it honestly to the same life somewhere else. The math either works or it doesn't. Second, visit first. Spend a month minimum. See if you can actually handle the cultural adjustment, the language barrier, being far from family. This isn't a vacation, it's a life decision. Some people thrive. Some people last 6 months and come back. Know yourself. Third, understand the visa requirements cold. Every country has different income thresholds, different paperwork, different timelines. Portugal is easier than Spain. Panama is more established than Greece. Malaysia has different requirements than the Philippines. Do not wing this part. And here's my final thought. The fact that this is even a rational choice for millions of Americans tells you everything about what happened to the American retirement system. It's not that these other countries are so amazing. It's that America made retirement so expensive that leaving became the smart play. These countries didn't have to try very hard. They just had to be less extractive than what you're dealing with now. That's a pretty low bar, and they're clearing it easily. The begging isn't for you to come. The begging is for you to stay, and nobody's making that offer worth taking.